Hey folks, Life's Journey at 50 here again. So, you probably saw the all the gear all the time video that I did, and what I really want to talk about: do MOTOZ tires cause a death wobble? It's a great question, right? The reason why I asked this is because my recent experience of going out to Wyoming and the Get On Adventure Fest, and then obviously doing the Northeast BDR, and I've been running MOTOZ for almost 2 years now. Now, granted, I ran an adventure in the rear, and I always ran the rals in the front. This year, I switched to the rals in the rear. So as my back tire, just a little bit more aggressive off-road. And I love them off-road. And so the rest of the crew that went to Northeast BDR, they went with, a couple of us had the rals, and and the other guys went with the adventure and the dual sport. So even on our journey up to the Northeast BDR, everybody kind of complained about the front end, the front ends of the MOTOZ being a little bit wonky. Now, granted, you're running knobbies on the highway. You're doing 70, 75, maybe 80 miles an hour. Mostly, especially going up East Coast, 70, 75 miles an hour. And even the guys in the dual sport were still a little wonky. Now, those guys don't really run a lot of knobbies. A couple of us do. But even on the rals, seemed a little bit more wonky than what I experienced last year on the tire. So I don't know if there's been a change, compound, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a technician. I'm not an engineer. None of that stuff. This is purely conjecture on my part, but I'm giving my experiences. And I've heard this from other folks as well, that on the highway, the MOTOZ just really are squirrely. And obviously I had the incident in Nebraska where I went down because, I hit shaved pavement, it started waffling there, got up on smooth pavement, couldn't get it under control, and it went out from underneath me and I had the death wobble. So on the Sunday I was coming back, I was in Iowa, I think Davenport, somewhere in that neighborhood, and just outside of Illinois. And so they had construction, roads were clean, but then the construction going into a bridge was still, they had still had it shaved down. It got smooth over the bridge, then shaved down again. I was only doing 65 or 70 at the time, and the first one, bike got a little bit wobbly, but as soon as I hit the second one and came out of it, I started actually going into another death wobble. And luckily enough, I was at such a low speed, I kind of pulled over onto the berm of the road on the highway. There was actually an open field in the median. No, didn't look like any severeness, anything. I was actually going to lay it down there if I had to. And I had my broken leg at the time too, so. But I was able to get brake under control, get it under control, and get it back to stabilization. So that's the second time on one trip that I had issues when it hits grooved pavement and it started going all over the place. Now my steering dampener is fine. I've had it checked out. I even have an improved one from Ted Porter on there. So not all that stuff. Again, checks and balances, trying to figure out what's going on. The other issue I have with the MOTOZ tires, especially on the rals, is had it set with 4,000 miles. You guys will see pictures of this, and the lugs were starting to tear off. Now, granted, the rals probably only get around 3,500 to 4,500 miles on them to begin with. Second set of tires, I ran those to the Northeast, ran them back, and then ran them out west. Little less than 4,000 miles, but when I got to the Fort Collins BMW dealership to have the new tires put on, they were tearing, cracks and stuff in the rear tire. I had new set of rals put on at Fort Collins. I got roughly about 2,800 miles out of them on my way back. I had to take my bike into BMW this week, and even at 2,700 miles, you can see the cracks and stuff happening in the rear of the rowels. Now, oh, you ran in low pressure? No, I didn't. I checked all the time. I run my tires at standard 42 in the rear, 36 in the front. I've ran them even maybe down a little bit in the rear just because of being off-road, but no more than about 4 pounds, 4 to 6 pounds roughly. And all those instances, the rear lugs have started to separate, crack in the back of the thing. So I don't know if that's contributing to some of that as well, because the front's not being stable, the rear's not being stable. But at the end of the day, leave your comments on the MOTOZ tires and what you've experienced out there. Now, I will say this. I love them off-road. I think they're great off-road tire. I've had Anarchy Wilds. The Anarchy Adventures they're not really off-road tires, but I've had the Anarchy Wilds. Really haven't had anything else. I did have the MOTOZ EOS, the 07 Pluses. They were on this bike. They actually did a nice job. The Karoo 4s on the Touareg that I had were pretty good off-road. On-road, they're a little bit, waffly, but what I found, and I have MOTOZ on, I put MOTOZ on my KTM as well. Had no issues, but I don't ride the KTM on the highway. This is trailered usually out to ride off-road. So again, no issues. Love the tires off-road. So my big question to the community is, have you had these issues? I'm starting to wonder that, are these the right tires on the highway? Anything over 65 or really over 70 miles an hour, will it cause a death wobble? And can you be in some serious trouble out there? So I'm putting this video out there just as my experience, what I've run into for the last 3 sets of MOTOZ Rowell's tires. And then I've also got 3 guys that ran the Adventure and the Dual Sports, and their concern or their experience with going to the Northeast BDR and coming back roughly about 3,000 miles on their tires as well. So again, it's not scientific. This is not telling me that it's an end-all be-all doomsday type of thing, but wanted to get anybody's feedback in the comments below, and just kind of be able to share the information with MOTOZ to let them know maybe some of the issues or some of the challenges that we're facing. Maybe it's just here in the United States, I don't know, but just really concerned about it. I wish I had video of both times where it started going into the wobbles. I don't, because I didn't have the cameras on, but I thought I would put this out there. Again, on road, I'm a little bit nervous now riding these things on road. I've rode these tires, like I said, I've gone through 3 sets of them this summer. So that tells you how many miles I put on with them. So, and plus I've had experience with them last year. And like I said, off-road, I don't think they can be beat off-road, the MOTOZ tires. I just don't. Longevity-wise, and granted, I did say the lug's tearing, but that's based on highway usage too. But if you're just strictly doing off-road, I don't think there's a tire that beats the MOTOZ tires. I'm concerned about on-road and want to know from you guys. So anyways, thought I'd put this video out there, see what your comments are, see what your experiences have been. This wasn't meant to be a clickbait, but at the same time, it's about having a discussion for the community and understanding, the safety of tires, and, what's available, especially for those folks that are doing off-road, but anyways, I thought I would share this, get your comments, and please light up the comments, because I think the more information that we have, the better off we are. So thanks a lot, everybody. Hope this helps, or at least gives you guys some thoughts out there. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.